Alright guys, quickie review on the Readyman EDC Sleeves. I bought a couple of these after I saw them on one of Sootch's videos. He had an EDC video, I think like a month or so, more like 2 months ago, and he did a quick review on these, and I was kind of like, ooh, I gotta have one of these. So I went and I ordered two. And as much as it killed me, guys, I actually kept one brand new, and I used one literally almost every day for the past 2 months just to see quality-wise how long it's going to last and what you're getting for your money. These things are about $7, which makes them a really cool deal. And these are the simplest piece of gear you're going to find. It is literally a sewed-up elastic sleeve that you put onto your belt and use to put in gear like multi-tools or magazines for firearms or something like that. So simple, so beautiful, just completely and totally brilliant. I mean, I cannot believe just how simple and easy, and the fact that they're putting them out at a price that's like $7. You know, even though they don't last forever, you can really afford to buy, you know, a couple of these, and they do last quite a bit of time. So, as you can see, I have it kind of lined up here with Leatherman Skeletal, and now these, of course, are going to be different depending on your belt and how big your belt is. So, just kind of want to slide it in there. That's what she said, and just kind of show you when they go in the first couple of times. This is the new one, guys. When they go in, these things are really snug. So this doesn't even have a belt on it. You know, normally you would have this on your belt, which is going to take up even more of this slack. These things hold in there really nice, and this is a relatively small multi-tool. There's a lot other thicker and bigger multi-tools on the market. As you can see, retention is actually really good. On a belt, it's even better. When these things are brand new, they are dynamite. So now, let's pull out the 2-month-old one. Alright, as you can see, the 2-month-old one is a little worn out. It's a little stretched out, just like your mom. And, you know, a little worse than wear. You can see it's a little frayed up, you know, from the multi-tools. And, you know, it just doesn't look... You can see it's actually gotten, due to stretching, like your mom, it is, you know, you've got a good, you know, millimeter or two excess material just to it stretching over time. So, now what we're going to do is slap this multi-tool into the 2-month-old one, and this might go flying out, guys. Yep. So you can see these things after a couple of months lose a lot of their retention. I can still carry this on my belt very effectively because, like I said, the belt does take out a lot of that slack. I can still, you know, because I wear a 1.5-inch belt, and this thing works perfectly on it, and it will still retain this. The most I ever have is sometimes, you know, if you're really bending or leaning against things, maybe, you know, like that much might be sliding out the end. But not much, nothing even close to a risk of it falling out. I've never even had anything close to that where I was even concerned that it was a remote possibility. So even after 2 months, I'm still 100% confident that this will retain a multi-tool. Now, if it was a smaller magazine, like a 22 magazine or something like that, I'd be a little more worried. But for your larger multi-tools, these things are... pretty rock solid. Now, I tested out pretty much every magazine, and this thing will hold about anything when they're new. They'll hold pocket knives, they'll hold magazines, they'll hold, you know, all kinds of EDC gear, which is pretty cool because it's a really good, inexpensive way to horizontal carry. Now, I hate having a multi-tool on my belt. I feel like every time, you know, like they always get caught on the seat belt or the car, you know, or my office chair at work. It always seems to catch on the armrests, you know, and then, you know, ends up knocking the chair around, making a huge ruckus, you know. So I always hate carrying multi-tools on my belt. This has made it comfortable for me because it does horizontal carry, so I've had no issues with it catching, and I can actually carry it in the front. I kind of do almost like an appendix carry and do the multi-tool right in front by my buckle. That makes it very easy for me to grab, to get to, without having to reach behind me. Like, say if I'm in the car or something like that, I can just reach down and grab it. I don't have to get up, move, take off my seatbelt, anything like that. Same thing with magazines. When I've carried spare magazines in this, I found it's very easy to access them because, you know, guys, you got to train with stuff, and if you're going to use this to carry magazines, you got to make sure you can access it. So I wanted to make sure this is something I can get to from my car, that I can get to laying down on my side. The only place I can't get it is laying face down, but if I'm laying face down, I'm probably dead and don't need it. So very versatile piece of gear. I really like it in that appendix carry right in the front. On the side, I think it, you know, it prints a little bit. You know, you can definitely see that there's something big on your belt if you are carrying a big multi-tool or a magazine. So I do like it in the front. It hides a little better, it conceals a little better, and is very discreet as well. If you're wearing a black belt, this thing all but disappears. And I don't even wear a black belt. I wear a one of those 511 nylon belts with the plastic buckle. So and it's brown, so it sticks out like a sore thumb. But even then, I've never had anyone notice it. Never had anyone really pay any attention to it, because in reality, it kind of looks like a small cell phone holster. It's very inconspicuous. You know, you could have a knife in there, you could have a magazine. It really hides it. Even if your shirt's tucked in, you know, it really does a good job at kind of discreetly not letting people know what kind of gear you have. So if you do want to wear a multi-tool on your belt, this is definitely a more discreet way over those big bulky pouches or the leather pouches or something like that, because, you know, you're kind of limited with them. You got to carry them on the sides or in the back, and that's it. These things, you know, you can do 360. You can do them in the back for kind of smaller back carry or front, whatever. You know, a lot you can do with these for the $7. Like I said, I highly recommend them. Definitely check them out, and you can see, you know, the difference between a new one and a 2-month-old one. So if you are going to be carrying small gear, expect to be replacing these things about, you know, every 2 months, I'd say. And that's when you're going to start to lose retention on the small stuff. But when it comes to bigger things, even smaller multi-tools like this Leatherman, 2 months, no problem, still holds it, no problem. Probably will easily get 4, 5, 6 months out of these. So at that $7, if you buy 3 of them, you know, $21, it'll probably get you through a year, no problem. So they are disposable, they're a wearable item, they're not going to last you forever, but they are pretty cool, they are pretty handy, and they do a great job at keeping gear out of the way and letting you carry more without having a ton in your pockets.